Proud to be seen the red and green of the People's Republic. It stands for what's true in a sea of blue. In the People's Republic, it fills us with cheer, we're far from austere. In the People's Republic, the People's Republic of Brighton and Hove. With our flag flying high and a gleam in our eye. In the People's Republic, we defy Tory rule, we are nobody's fool. In the People's Republic, the trains aren't on time, but then that's not a crime. In the People's Republic, the People's Republic of Brighton and Hove. Come for a visit and tell us your woes. Swim in our waters or just dip your toes. You can have a passport, but our borders do not close. And if you never leave, well, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. Seagulls screech on a pebble beach. In the People's Republic, in the Sussex enclave, no one is a slave. In the People's Republic, you can be who you are, but you can't park your car. In the People's Republic, the People's Republic of Brighton and Hove. The People's Republic of Brighton and Hove. It basically means a support group in times of austerity.
There's a message of hope, I think, to the whole nation.
It just means a like-minded group of people who are sort of thoroughly pissed off with what we've been handed.
Yeah, it's a symbolic gesture showing people that change is possible.
If there'd be a subgroup who'd like to join together to campaign for electoral reform, that would be great.
It's a comfort blanket, basically, initially, after that crunching moment when the exit poll came out on the night of the general election.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, isn't it?
It's put me in a constant state of confusion and befuddlement, but a very nice state as well.
As I understand it, when Peter and Jason started this out, it was a bit of a gag, and you know, and it very quickly grew into something that became a little bit more serious, but hopefully not too serious. I think that's the key to it.
I think a lot of people must have felt the same way as me. Yeah?
People are looking for a real sort of solution to the problems we face. The politics of the people, the stuff that really matters to us on the street, the fact that we don't have any time to really deal with that because we're all chasing our tails and biting each other's ankles for money to pay into markets, which is all being run from the top by these businessmen who are purporting to be politicians. That's a fake game. It's not the real game. The real politics is here amongst the people.
I was a bit gutted. I personally voted Green.
I was deeply depressed.
Sad, basically, very sad.
You know, it's down to the electoral system. If all the first past post system is broken, and we may be a joke, but the electoral system is far much more of a joke than we are.
Yeah, no comment.
You know, 63% of the population, 63% of the voting population didn't vote for the Conservatives.
I didn't really have any investment in the political system. I didn't really have much faith. I think the Green Party is the only party which is really dealing with the kind of political issues that face us, that in our hearts we care about. The other political parties, I don't think it really matters which one of them would have got in because of the corporate sponsorship of those parties.
There's also a laugh. Just if people get a benefit out of it, if people enjoy using it, if people find a sense of purpose in banding together to do something constructive and
to do good.
Raise money for good causes, to pressure our politicians, and to keep the idea that the democracy is not just about voting every 4 or 5 years. It's about engagement on a day-to-day basis.
One of the boxes we have to break free of is the fact that there needs to be a party. I think we need much more local, community-oriented directions.
If people have put an idea out there and there's enough people behind it, then they can take ownership of that, lead it, and if that's anti-austerity, it's anti-austerity. If it's charity, then it's charity. And if it's supporting local strikes, like for the NHS, I think that's a hugely important thing. The NHS, all our people support that, and oppose the cuts that might affect that this government might have in the pipeline.
Taking a lot of the bureaucracy out of, and the red tape, the political red tape out of the decisions and the things we need to change in our culture. I mean, there's ways around doing the things that we do without going through all the avenues where all the money gets soaked up, for example.
It's Liberty Arts and the Food Bank. Food Bank's Fair Share, Liberty's human rights organisation. That was a decision that reflects a conversation that went on in the group in the early stages. What we're doing at the moment is we're launching a manifesto. You might have seen that today. People are filling in slips, they're filling in forms online. Once we've got everybody's views, we'll collate that and draw up a manifesto. And if there's other charities people want to support, or other campaigns people want to support, but specifically anti-austerity campaigns, we're taking people along to the anti-austerity campaign on June the 20th. I think I said a lot of our group will be going on that. Then they're free to lead whatever they want from that manifesto, from those ideas, and take it forward. It's not a centrally organised campaign that we're running. If people want to run with an idea, take leadership of it, go for it. Use our name and do it.
It's because Liberty protects human rights, Fair Share protects the poor, and the Brighton Open Air Theatre represents the arts, and we feel that they're the three things being attacked by the Tories.
Yes, it's support for the arts, which is, it's a very big thing in both the economy of Brighton and Hove, but also in the actual culture and the nature of the place. It's always supported the arts historically. You can name lots of not just famous people that have lived here and worked here, but it's just something about the character of the place. It is a sort of an alternative kind of place, and I think people know that about Brighton and Hove. Then you've got the human rights, that thing about social justice. I think that's equally key to both the red and the green factions of the People's Republic.
Well, I think it was decided by the founders, but we're all behind it.
People's ability to fend for themselves, the arts and human rights are all being attacked by this government. So this may be a joke thing, but there's a semi-serious edge.
Today, I personally overpaid for a T-shirt and overpaid for my earrings. So
and we've managed to give £1,000 to Liberty, which I'm really proud of, and we've got a number of ongoing projects at the moment. I'm doing the national anthem. I'm recording it with a local choir, and we're doing that within the next 2 weeks, and that money will go to Fair Share. A good percentage of that will go to Fair Share, which is a local food bank charity.
£2,500 at the moment, or something like that.
I think it's a side effect. I think it's a sign or a reflection of the fact you've got 15,000 Brightonians, left-leaning, Green and Labour types, really, that have ideas, and they've used the Facebook group to express those ideas. There's thousands of them, and they're all welcome to do that within the group, of course.
There is always a place within this for all kinds of voices and all sorts of movements, and I hope that can continue.
Something I wasn't really expecting, but something we're incorporating within the jokey nature of what we are. I launched this group as a response to the Tory victory, and I thought using humour would be a great idea. The performance element is basically, we're not really a serious political party, we're just trying to fight what we see as an oppressive government, and so we're using what we know, which is satire and comedy and basically humour.
So as the Minister for Politics, Propaganda and Piffle, I perhaps should add a further P for performance in that as well. It's a very important part of it. I think getting out there and spreading the message in public as a performance is the way that we will get our message out to the whole of the city.
I think it's fantastically important because there's so much rancour and division on the left. I think that's part of the problem. Whether if you're in the Labour Party, or if you're in one of the left groups, the groups of the left of the Labour Party, Tusk or the SWP, or in the Green Party, whatever, you'll be familiar with internal wrangles, long, boring speeches and meetings that you've had to attend. We're trying to sort of do serious stuff in a fun way, and if we bring that to the left in general, I think that's something that could be really positive.
It's about having fun with the political process, but about keeping people engaged in democracy as well.
Well, you've got to keep a sense of perspective, you know, and in this group, it's what keeps us afloat.
It's a way of undercutting power.
We are surrounded by a sea of blue, and our weapon is humour. We're not aggressive people. We basically just want to live our lives the way we want to live them, and don't want to be oppressed by a blue majority. That was a bit heavy, sorry.
I mean, I really try hard not to take myself too seriously, but as a father of four, realise that you know, there are some things you do have to take quite seriously, and I kind of made a decision in my life, you know, that some years ago, that I don't want to be on my deathbed one day knowing that there was something wrong with the way things are going, having an idealist view of how our culture and communities and society indeed can be, and not doing anything, you know, just carrying on, filling in my tax return, sending off my corroboration and complicity to people who really aren't in it for any of those things.
If they find common ground, that's great.
You know what? I think it's time for cooperation in politics. I mean, I'm a member of a political party, one of the, I won't tell you which one of the red-green parties, and I think, certainly at a local level, it's time for us to start talking on the local council. You know, there are now 23, I think that's right in saying, 23 Labour councillors, so they form the minority, sort of largest grouping. There are 20 Conservatives, but there are 11 Greens. So put those two, you know, put the Labour and the Greens together, and you've got a working majority. You know, get on with it, guys. You know, sort it out. You know, the time for those kind of party politics is gone.
It would be very interesting, Green and Red together. I think it would be an interesting compromise on both their parts, and it would be actually an ideal government for me.
The Green Party haven't lost at all. The Green Party's growing, it's getting stronger. I think you can't see it in terms of every 4 years there's a winner and a loser. I mean, that's what we teach our kids. You either win or you lose at school. You know, if you don't happen to do or kind of fit in with the paradigm and the way the curriculum presents the education that you're supposed to come out of on top, there's going to be a statistic, you know, and kids fall into that. And in the same way, politics has got this kind of cycle that goes on, and we've got another 4 years, and they can blame the last lot for what they inherited. The general direction of it is kind of falling apart around our ankles, and so the Green Party haven't lost. It's just the system makes it look that way.
We're not politicians, we don't have to pretend to like everyone.
No. Not that I think they're a fantastic party, and a lot of their policies have actually come true, which is really funny. If you look at their manifesto from about 20-30 years ago, they were all for opening borders to Europe and all this stuff, and a lot of it has come true, which shows the kind of mad nature of politics. But I think if any party we're akin to, it's possibly them, but we are a little bit more serious.
Don't think they've done an awful lot in terms of bringing together a sort of community of people. It's certainly helped to highlight some of the, you know, in the same way that the Monty Python sort of political sketches did back in the 1970s, highlight some of the, you know, the inherent satire of the political process. But yes, I think the People's Republic can have far more impact in the long term, maybe, than the monster raving loonies have had.
not at all. I think I know what you're saying, that there's a kind of a sort of protest element or a kind of novelty element to it, but no, I don't think it's anything to do with that at all. No.
It doesn't really matter to me. What I see is an opportunity for a symbolic stand. I mean, I would have loved it if I turned up here and everyone was looking for the change that I'm looking for. I'm sure many people are. Again, I really appreciate the humour that's done in, because it means that there's there's room for making mistakes. Nobody's got all the answers. We can all know that there's change needed, but we can't know what that change is. We're so deeply buried underneath, the kind of conditioning that we are, and the reality that we find ourselves in.
We've had a lot of support on Twitter and things like that from local MPs, but we haven't actually met with them or anything like that.
I know I've met several Green councillors that have been here today, and other people that like what we're doing. But how strong that support is and whether it will continue and how it will grow, I don't know. Yeah.
So, I was going to write a press release called Battle of the Portaloos to ask the council maybe for assistance in providing portaloos, but the weather hasn't been so great, so maybe we won't need it today. Maybe we will, but we haven't got any.
It's also nice to see that there's groundswell of support for the Brighton demonstration against austerity coming up next week, and also the national one on June the 20th. It's too early to say where this group will go, really, but obviously I think it can do great things. There's a massive potential.
Yeah, and campaign for electoral reform.
We do create our own reality by the way we behave. Look at all the things you do and change the things in your heart aren't necessary, don't really serve you and the community around you. Try and join back together with community.
Viva the glorious Republic.
Viva the Republic, and yeah, we're all in it together. We are.
So come and join us now in the People's Republic of Brighton and Hove. So come and join us now in the People's Republic of Brighton and Hove.